Give me a call. Give me a call. We can have a chat. ICE have executed someone in the street, it seems. Horrific. Here's Trump.
Yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses.
Beautiful.
What the hell happened? But I watched him sort of be tough.
You know, we always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth.
This is Larry Fink from BlackRock. He's saying that countries avoided mass immigration will be better positioned in the future.
But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking unemployment, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And it's a promise. I didn't say it's going to happen, but it's a promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will. We'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Thank you.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, you know, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population.
That's at the World Economic Forum.
That there was 500 years ago.
They want to.
The people live like paupers.
They want to go back to how the world was 500 years ago. 500 years ago, there weren't many people in the world, and the World Economic Forum want to go back to that number of people. Why can't we just all work a bit harder, share the food? All right, what's happening in Iran? Let's get an update.
While the mullahs live like gods. That was the protest chant in 2018 in Iran. In 2020, it was women, life, freedom.
Remember that one.
Today, there's no single chant. As millions of Iranians across the country have taken to the streets to protest in the largest mass demonstration in over a decade. They're marching in the face of violent oppression. They're marching in the face of weapons being used against them by their own government. They're marching in the face of a complete internet blockout. Why? Because they're fed up. They're fed up with the poverty. They're fed up with the inflation. They're fed up with the corruption. They're fed up with the oppressive, theocratic, authoritarian regime that mismanages their own country, mismanages and mistreats their own people, and steals billions of dollars that belongs to the people of Iran. The Ayatollah uses the people's money to serve as the terrorist banker. He uses the money that belongs to his people to destabilize the Middle East and terrorize the world while his people suffer. He helped fund the barbaric attacks of October 7th. He funds violent proxy groups all over the region, from Hamas to Hezbollah to the Houthis. He spent billions of dollars building a nuclear program while his people go hungry. He has unlawfully imprisoned 6 American citizens. They're thugs. The Iranian regime has become the biggest purveyor of mayhem in the Middle East and remains the biggest threat to the United States, to the West, and to his own people. They've killed thousands of their own people, mass murder to cling to power. They're thugs. This thuggish regime does not speak for the people of Iran.
All right, we get it. I thought ISIS were the really bad terrorists, weren't they? I mean, Iran has proxies in the form of Hezbollah and the others that they mentioned, but I thought ISIS were the really bad terrorists that we had to worry about, weren't they? Good evening to Hassan Iqbal. Good to see you over on this channel. I was live on the other one earlier on, but I did it a different way, not the usual vertical, and I don't think it worked very well.
Today,
majority.
Let's have a listen to this.
Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. You know, we've got Altman and AI, we got Zuckerberg, we got Sergey Brin, we got the group across the board, Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us. And we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. Amelia, we got to get our digital sneakers on so that the truth can prevail over the lies. And when we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority...
All right, one more. This is from the UN.
Mr. President, High Commissioner, distinguished delegates, the people of Iran are living through a nightmare. Allow me to share the story of a family who spent 3 days searching for their son. He had left home to protest in the streets of Tehran, but never returned. In distress, his parents first searched the hospitals where many of the wounded have been abducted and killed. Having failed to find him, they went next to the notorious morgues, wanting to retrieve the bodies are told to pay exorbitant sums of money for the bullets used to kill their loved ones. Yet others are forced to sign confessions blaming imaginary terrorists for the murder of their children. Hope and horror were intertwined as the parents opened the black bags one by one. Their search was not in vain. They found their son still alive. He had miraculously survived severe bullet wounds, lying motionless inside the body bag for 3 days, pretending to be dead to avoid execution by a finishing shot to the head. Just imagine the relief that mother and father must have felt. But for most, there is no such miracle. The search ends in devastating grief. These are the scenes from hell confronting countless Iranians today. Mr. President, even against the blood-stained record of the Islamic Republic, extensively documented by the UN, the savagery of the past days is unprecedented. The authorities initially claimed that 5,000 had been killed, but reduced the figure to 3,000 2 days ago. This is a gross underestimate. 5 days ago, a report by medical doctors inside Iran put the number at 16,500 killed and 330,000 injured. The number increases each day because the killings haven't stopped. We may not know the exact number because of the internet blackout, but by any plausible estimate, this is the worst mass murder in the contemporary history of Iran. Our beautiful country has become a cemetery in which the hopes of our youth are buried. I began my career as a UN human rights officer here in Geneva in 1993 during the war in the former Yugoslavia. I went on to serve as a prosecutor at the International Criminal Tribunal in The Hague. I helped draft the indictment for the Srebrenica genocide in which some 8,000 Bosnian Muslims were massacred during July of 1995. By comparison, at least twice that number has been killed in Iran in half the time. This is an extermination. And unlike Bosnia, there is no war between military forces. There is only a war by the Islamic Republic against unarmed youth crying for a better future.
I think London actually is quietly dying. I mean, when I was young and I was in London during the 80s, London was booming. And everybody wanted to be in London because it was free, it was entrepreneurial, it was the place everybody wanted to be.